नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, खूप सर्व विद्यार्थ्यांच्या डिमांड नंतर आपण आपली इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच इंग्लिशमध्ये सुरू करत आहोत. ही इंग्लिशमधील बॅच मी जवळपास सर्वच्या सर्व लक्ष्मीकांत कव्हर करण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. ही इंग्लिश मीडियममधल्या बॅचची तुम्हाला एक नोट्ससुद्धा मिळेल आणि यासोबतच तुम्हाला या बॅचचे सर्वच्या सर्व व्हिडिओज, आपलं जे ज्ञानदीप अकॅडमीचा लाल कलरचा लोगो असणारा ॲप आहे, या लाल कलरचा लोगो असणाऱ्या ॲपवर तुम्हाला सर्वच्या सर्व बॅच मिळेल. मग या बॅचला ॲक्सेस किती असेल, व्हिडिओज केव्हा अपलोड केले जातील, तुम्ही ते व्हिडिओज किती दिवस पाहू शकता, या सर्व बाबतीतील सर्वच्या सर्व सूचना त्या ॲपवरच त्या ठिकाणी सूचना या सदरामध्ये तुम्हाला दिलेली आहे. तर मी तुम्हाला सर्वांना सुचवेल, ज्या विद्यार्थ्यांना इंग्लिश मीडियममधनं इंडियन पॉलिटीची बॅच हवी होती, तुम्ही ही बॅच नक्की जॉईन करा. तुमच्या मित्रांसोबत सुद्धा शेअर करा. यामध्ये मी तुम्हाला प्रत्येक कन्सेप्ट सांगण्याचा प्रयत्न तर केला आहेच, मात्र या कन्सेप्टच्या सोबतच त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जो महत्त्वाचा कंटेंट आहे आणि त्या टॉपिकशी निगडीत जे महत्त्वाचा फॅक्च्युअल डेटा आहे, जो तुमच्या परीक्षेसाठी अत्यंत उपयुक्त असतो, हा सर्वच्या सर्व डेटा सुद्धा मी त्या ठिकाणी देण्याचा प्रयत्न केलेला आहे. सो तुम्हाला सर्वांना विनंती की बॅच शेअर करा आणि जॉईन करा. थँक्यू. Hello friends, welcome you all to Gnandeep Academy. Now in continuation to our topic on Indian Parliament. In today's lecture we are going to study about Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Chairman, Deputy Chairman. These four important functionaries along with Whip. So our agenda is to understand in details about these five important personalities which are very, very important for examination. So let's start with the topic. But before that, a quick review to what we studied till now. Now here, Union Legislature means Central Legislature, which is also called as Parliament. It is composed of three important organs. One is President, second is Rajya Sabha, third is Lok Sabha. A brief review about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. First about Rajya Sabha. It is called as Upper House, also known as Council of States. Total members 250. Out of 250, 238 members are from states and union territories which are indirectly elected. Whereas 12 members are nominated by President of India in the areas of art, literature, science and social services. It is a permanent body, is not open for dissolution. Term of individual members is 6 years. 1/3 members retire at the expiration of their 6 years after every second year. Who are the presiding officers? Chairman and Deputy Chairman. Then what are the qualifications for a person to be a member of Rajya Sabha? Citizen of India, and she should not be in terms of age less than 30 years of age. His age or her age should not be less than 30 years of age. This is about Rajya Sabha. Then comes Lok Sabha. It is lower house of the parliament, also called as House of the People. Maximum strength was 552. Now the maximum strength has been reduced to 550. As 104th Constitutional Amendment Act, it abolished the nomination given to Anglo-Indian community members in the Lok Sabha. Out of these 550, 530 members shall be elected from states and 20 members shall be elected from various union territories. This nomination given to Anglo-Indian community members has been abolished by Indian Parliament. Members are directly elected. So this is basic difference. Members of Rajya Sabha are indirectly elected as well as 12 nominated members. Members of Lok Sabha are directly elected based on universal adult franchise, which we studied under Article 325 and under Article 326, and no discrimination under Article 325. Term of Lok Sabha members is 5 years. Presiding officers are Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Then what is qualification? Again, citizen of India, and the age should not be less than 25 years of age. So these are basic qualifications of members of parliament, and this is brief review about parliament. So here one very, very important point you might skip, you might miss. Parliament is composed of three important functionaries. One is President, second is Rajya Sabha, and third is Lok Sabha. So here I want to make one very, very important statement. President is an integral part of the parliament. Remember this line. President is an integral part of the Indian Parliament. Now, who gives oath or affirmation to members of Parliament? members of parliament involved. Members of parliaments are called as MPs, right? So gives oath to this member of parliament, that is members of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Remember, oath or affirmation to member of parliaments are given by president or any person appointed by president, right? The oath is composed of three important components: faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India, to protect sovereignty and integrity of India, and to faithfully discharge all the duties bestowed on the President of India. So these are the important components of the President of India. Now here analysis is very less. Certain factual bits are there which you have to keep in mind so that you can analyze answers in a more practical way. Now, a penalty of 500 rupees shall be imposed on member of parliament in two conditions. First, when he sits in the house and votes in the house. In which house? He sits and votes in the house despite knowing that he has been disqualified. It means if a member of parliament is disqualified either by Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, and if that member of parliament sits and votes in the house, then a penalty of 500 rupees shall be imposed on that MP. Also, if he sits and votes when he is prohibited from sitting. Now, what is difference between first and second case? In first case, the member of parliament has been duly disqualified. It means that person is no more a member of parliament. In second case, the member is not disqualified, but the member has been prohibited from voting and from sitting in the house. Clear second point? In second point, the member has been prohibited from voting and sitting in the house is the second case. Clear? So, first case and this is the second case. What are the salaries and allowances of member of parliaments? Remember, first point to which I will star mark, salaries and allowances of member of parliament are determined by parliament only. Constitution do not contain any provision regarding the pensions of MPs. 1954 an act was passed, that is salaries, allowances and pensions of member of parliament. This was an act of 1954. Then in 1976, members of parliament became entitled for pensions. So if you get a question from which year onwards MPs are getting pension, it is 1976. Then salaries and allowances of speaker, deputy speaker, chairman and deputy chairman are decided by parliament. And these salaries and allowances are charged upon the consolidated fund of India. This is important case. We are going to study this in budget. Remember, the salaries and allowances are charged upon consolidated fund of India. It means it is non-votable part of the budget. Non-votable. It is not open for the vote. Non-votable part of the Indian budget. Now, the most important functionary of Lok Sabha, he is speaker. Some important fact about the speaker. I will request every one of you to listen these facts very carefully. These facts are very, very important. First, so now we will try to study one of the most important functionary of Indian Parliament, of Indian Lok Sabha. That most important position is Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now, the position of Speaker of Lok Sabha has been given in the Constitution under Article 93, first thing. Now, one important thing. Speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected by Lok Sabha. Here, while giving you the question, they could give you option that Speaker is nominated by Lok Sabha, Speaker is appointed by Lok Sabha, Speaker is elected by Lok Sabha, or Speaker, all those words could be there. That's why you have to keep these words specifically in mind. Speaker is elected by Lok Sabha. Now here, remember, Speaker is head of the Lok Sabha. Now various words are there for Lok Sabha. I want to give you this simple thing. First is about head of Lok Sabha. Second is about leader of Lok Sabha. Then third is about leader of government. Head of the government. Now here see, who is head of the Lok Sabha? It is Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Then who is leader of Lok Sabha? Generally, Prime Minister is leader of the Lok Sabha. Why? Because it is the duty of Prime Minister to put forth all policies, program, project, legislative bills of government on the floor of Lok Sabha. That's why Prime Minister is leader of the Lok Sabha. Then Prime Minister is head of the government. Prime Minister is head of the government. These are a few important words you have to keep in mind, because many a time they could straight away ask you a question by using these words, which are generally not explained at many places in the book. Now, one important point from examination MCQ point of view, date of election of speaker is decided by the president. This is important bit. I repeat once again, date of election of speaker is decided by the president. Now, next important point about speaker is vacating the office. Means under which condition speaker has to leave his office. He has to remove, he will be removed from his office, or he will have to vacate, he will have to forego his office. What are the various conditions? First, when speaker is no more a member of Lok Sabha, whatever be the reason, when that speaker's Lok Sabha membership is gone, then automatically his speakership is also gone. Whenever speaker's Lok Sabha membership is gone, his speakership is also gone. First case. Second, when he resigns, giving his resignation to deputy speaker. Now here a few important things from examination point of view. See, remember this point very carefully. Speaker gives his resignation to deputy speaker, whereas deputy speaker gives his resignation to speaker. Keep this point in mind. Speaker gives resignation to deputy speaker gives resignation to speaker. Clear? So when speaker resigns, writing a resignation letter to deputy speaker. Second way to vacate the office. Third, removal of the speaker. Now, speaker will be removed by resolution of Lok Sabha. But before giving or before putting resolution in the Lok Sabha, a 14 days notice shall be sent to speaker to listen his side, to put forth all his arguments. Then once that notice comes, the things will be discussed, and on that resolution a voting will be taken to remove speaker from his post. That voting must be passed by a majority of all members of Lok Sabha. That voting must be passed by a majority of all the members of the Lok Sabha. Now here important point, during removal resolution, speaker cannot preside, it means he cannot chair the sittings of the house. When removal resolution has been brought in Lok Sabha, at that time speaker cannot act as a speaker of the Lok Sabha till the voting on resolution. If resolution is passed, speaker will have to vacate his office. If resolution is passed, speaker will get his speakership back. Here 14 days notice is important, and what kind of majority is important? By a majority of all members of the Lok Sabha. Clear? Now this is very important bit. Whenever Lok Sabha is dissolved, the speaker does not vacate his office and continues till newly elected Lok Sabha meets. Speaker gives resignation just before the first meeting of newly elected Lok Sabha. These two lines are very, very important. Speaker does not vacate his office at the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Speaker vacates office just few days before the first meeting of the newly elected Lok Sabha. In Britain, speaker is strictly a no-party man. In Britain, speaker is strictly a no-party man. It means speaker cannot act on the side of any political party. He has to be completely neutral, which is not the case in India. In India, speaker can act on the side of political party. Also, speaker has casting votes in many cases. Casting vote, it means whenever there is equality of votes on a particular bill, on a resolution, on a motion, or on an issue, and in that case of equality of votes, speaker has the right to vote, which is called as casting vote. In India, speaker has right to casting vote, and speaker act as a party man, which is not the case in Britain. In Britain, speaker is strictly a no party man. He should not act on this along the side of his political party. Now, important thing, various roles, powers and functions of the Lok Sabha speaker. Before that, A question which is being asked many times in prelims. What are the various sources of power of Lok Sabha Speaker? So Lok Sabha Speaker gets power from three important sources. First one is Constitution. Second is rules of procedures of Lok Sabha. Third is conduct of business of Lok Sabha. So these three are the most important sources of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Constitution, rules of procedures of Lok Sabha, conduct of business of the Lok Sabha. Speaker is head of the Lok Sabha. Why he is called as head of the Lok Sabha? Various reasons are there. You could straight away get a question, why Speaker is head of the Lok Sabha? First, he is final interpreter of everything and anything in the Lok Sabha. Right? He is the final interpreter of everything and anything in the house, means in the Lok Sabha. Normally, when we study polity, we know one important thing. Interpretation of laws, judgments, decisions, constitutional provisions, this function of interpretation goes in the hands of judiciary. We know all these things. Normally, it is the function of judiciary to interpret the things. But what about if there is a conflict between judiciary and speaker or in the Lok Sabha? Or if there is a conflict between Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers, means executive and legislature, whose decision shall prevail in the Lok Sabha? So here remember, it is the decision of Speaker which will prevail in the Lok Sabha, because Speaker is the final interpreter of everything and anything in the Lok Sabha. That's why he is head of the house. Second, Speaker has one of the most important function to maintain order and decorum within the house. Article 122. Then third, adjournment of the house. Whenever quorum of the Lok Sabha is not complete, at that time Speaker has the right to adjourn Lok Sabha. Now, what is the meaning of quorum? What is quorum? It is very simple concept. Minimum number of members who should be present to conduct business of Lok Sabha in regular manner is called as quorum. Minimum strength of Lok Sabha which is required to conduct business of Lok Sabha in regular manner is called as quorum. In Indian condition, it is 1/10 of the total strength of Lok Sabha. It means right now, as we have strength of 550, so our quorum is 55 is Indian quorum. So if at any point of time, the 55 members are not present, in this case, Speaker has the right to adjourn the house. The line says, Speaker has the right for adjournment of house whenever quorum of the Lok Sabha is not fulfilled. He has casting vote. The meaning of casting vote is whenever there is equality of votes on a bill, on a draft, on an issue, on a motion, on a resolution, in this case, Speaker has the right to vote, which is called as casting vote. Right. Next one, he presides over joint sitting under Article 108. What is joint sitting? We are going to study the concept of joint sitting in detail. Before that, I will just explain you what is joint sitting in simple term. See, whenever there is disagreement between the two houses of parliament, which are two houses of parliament? One is Lok Sabha, second is Rajya Sabha. Whenever there is disagreement between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha on a particular bill, and when this deadlock continues for a longer time period, at that time, President calls for joint sitting. Who calls joint sitting? Remember this point. President calls joint sitting, and this joint sitting is chaired by Speaker. See, normally procedure is there. Suppose a bill is passed by Lok Sabha and it goes to Rajya Sabha. And when this bill goes to Rajya Sabha has various options. First option, Rajya Sabha could say yes to that bill. When Rajya Sabha says yes to that bill, this bill goes to President for his signature. Rajya Sabha could say no to the bill. Rajya Sabha do not take any action for 6 months. See, two things. Rajya Sabha is saying no to the bill. Rajya Sabha is not taking any action for 6 months. Or Rajya Sabha is again sending the bill back for reconsideration. Sending bill back. You reconsider this bill. So in these two cases, which two cases? Where Rajya Sabha is saying no or Rajya Sabha is not taking any action. In these two cases, this situation is called as deadlock between the houses. Whenever there is deadlock between the two houses on a particular bill or resolution or motion, President calls for joint sitting and this joint sitting is chaired by Speaker under Article 108. So, Speaker has the right to chair joint sitting. Then, Speaker can allow secret sitting of the Parliament whenever essential in the interest of unity, integrity and security of the nation. Speaker can allow secret sitting of the Parliament. The next important power, money bill. We have seen what is the article of money bill? Article 110 is the article of money bill. We are going to study definition of money bill in detail. But here, money bill, whether a bill is money bill or not, shall be decided by Speaker. And his decision is final and it cannot be challenged. So, here three important lines. First important line, whether a bill is money bill or not, shall be decided by Speaker. In this case, Speaker's decision is final. And third case, this decision cannot be challenged. Why? Because Speaker is the final interpreter of all the provisions in the House. Anti-Defection Act, we have seen in last lecture, Anti-Defection Act, the decision shall be taken by Speaker regarding disqualification. But the most important thing, decision of Speaker is not final and it is open for judicial review from 1992. Then another important function, Speaker is ex officio chairman of IPG, that is Indian Parliamentary Group. All these things make Speaker a head of the House, that is head of the Lok Sabha. He appoints chairman of all parliamentary committees. He decides all point of order raised in the House. Point of order, the way, the chronology and the order in which Lok Sabha proceedings should go on shall be decided by Speaker. It is called as he decides all points of orders raised in the House. Also, Speaker acts as a chairman in Business Advisory Committee, in Rules Committee, in General Purpose Committee. He acts as a chairman in Business Advisory Committee, Rules Committee and General Purpose Committee. He is guardian of power and privileges of the members of Lok Sabha. Remember this thing. He acts as a guardian of the powers, privileges and authority given to Lok Sabha member to conduct their functions in a constitutional manner. His decision in parliamentary matters is final. So, all these 15 points make Speaker head of the House. Now, Speaker has been given a position of independence and impartiality to carry out functioning of Lok Sabha in a very independent manner. How and why it is so? Let's go into it. You could get a question why and which provisions of the Constitution make Speaker an independent and impartial personality. So, these are certain things. First, he is provided with a security of tenure. Means what? It means Speaker do not hold the position at the pleasure of Prime Minister and President. Speaker has been given a security of tenure of 5 years. He can be removed by Parliament only, through a resolution only, by giving him 14 days notice, by listening all his things, and finally by a majority of all the members of Lok Sabha. So, this ensures Speaker has a security of tenure. First point. Second, his salaries and allowances are fixed by Parliament and these are charged upon the Consolidated Fund of India. What is significance of expenses charged upon Consolidated Fund of India? It says that those expenses which are charged upon Consolidated Fund of India is non-votable part of budget. It is not put for the vote. It can be discussed, but it cannot be voted. It means Speaker is free, that he is sure that his salary will not be changed if he acts against a ruling political party. That's why it is non-votable part of the budget. Then, his work and conduct cannot be discussed and it cannot be criticized in the Lok Sabha except on substantive motion. Now, I will star mark this last point. This point says two important things. First, work and conduct of Speaker cannot be discussed. Second, work and conduct of Speaker cannot be criticized. Yes, two things are there. But there is an exception to this point. What is that exception? Work and conduct of Speaker can be discussed as well as criticized on substantive motion. So, using substantive motion is the only tool available in the hands of Parliament to discuss and criticize the work of speaker. Clear? He cannot vote in the first instance. He has casting vote in case of tie. So this make him more impartial person. He has to ensure that he should not vote for a political party. He should vote for a constitutional cause. And this is the reason why he cannot vote in the first instance. He can vote, or he can use only his casting vote in case of a tie. He is given a very high precedence in the order of precedence. Then, speaker is exempted from Anti-Defection Act. It means if speaker votes against his own political party, he will not be disqualified under Anti-Defection Act. Here two important things are there. First, speaker is exempted from Anti-Defection Act, first thing. And second important thing, the order issued by whip is not applicable to speaker. I repeat once again two important things. First important thing, speaker is exempted from Anti-Defection Act, and second, order issued by whip of his political party is not applicable to speaker. So I repeat once again, what are these things? First, speaker has security of tenure. Second, his salary, emolument and allowances are charged upon Consolidated Fund of India, which is non-votable part of budget. Next, his conduct and work cannot be discussed and criticized except on substantive motion. Then, he has only casting vote, no voting in early phase of the bill, high position in the precedence, Anti-Defection Act and the whip issued by whip is not applicable to speaker. Then about second important officer, Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Again, Deputy Speaker of the Lok Sabha is elected by Lok Sabha. Date of election of Deputy Speaker is decided by Speaker. Date of election of Speaker is decided by President. Then the date of election of Deputy Speaker is decided by Speaker. Now here, Deputy Speaker is not subordinate to Speaker. It means what this statement wants to say, the relationship between Speaker and Deputy Speaker is not like a relationship between Collector and Deputy Collector. As Deputy Collector is subordinate to Collector. Same, this relation is not found in Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Why? Because Deputy Speaker is directly responsible to House. That is, he is directly responsible to Lok Sabha. Clear this thing. This is the reason why Deputy Speaker is not subordinate to Speaker. He is directly responsible to the House. Then what are the cases where Deputy Speaker has to vacate his office? When he is no more a member of Lok Sabha, giving resignation to Speaker, removal, a resolution of Lok Sabha, giving 14 days notice by a majority of all the members of the Lok Sabha. Clear? Now, certain important facts about the office of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Up to 10th Lok Sabha, Speaker and Deputy Speaker were from ruling party. Up to 10th Lok Sabha. From 11th Lok Sabha, convention changed. What happened? Speaker started to be coming from ruling political party and Deputy Speaker started to be coming from opposition party. This became a convention. So, 10th and 11th Lok Sabha have milestone changes for Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Now, what is the origin of these two posts, Speaker and Deputy Speaker? Speaker and Deputy Speaker have originated in the year 1921. Their base is Government of India Act 1919, which is called as Montfort Reform or Montagu-Chelmsford Reform. It is also famous as Montfort Reform. Remember this name, Montfort Reform. In 1921, Frederick White, he became the first Speaker. Sachidananda Sinha, he became the first Deputy Speaker. Then in 1925, Vittalbhai Patel became first Indian and first elected Speaker. This is important. Vittalbhai Patel became first Indian and first elected Speaker. Earlier, the names of Speaker and Deputy Speaker were President and Deputy President of the Central Legislative Assembly. These names were changed by Government of India Act of 1935 and these names were changed in the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. But till 1947, the names as president and deputy president continued, as the Act of 1935 was implemented in 1947 only. Till then, it was not implemented. G.V. Mavlankar became the speaker in independent India. He was speaker from 1946 to 1956. And Ananta Sayana Mayangar was the deputy speaker in post-independent India. Now, two important things are there. One is about absence and second is about vacancy. Now, before moving forward, first we will try to understand the meaning of these two words, absence and vacancy. See, absence is a temporary thing. Vacancy is a long-term or permanent thing. Long-term or permanent. Like, have you ever seen advertisement in newspaper that principal of this college is absent, so we are recruiting the post for principal? No. We start new recruitment when there is vacancy. We do not start new recruitment when there is absentee. Clear? So, absence is a temporary thing, vacancy is a permanent thing or long-term thing. So, what happens when speaker is absent? When speaker is absent, deputy speaker takes the charge of speaker. When deputy speaker is also absent, then there is a panel of 10 chairperson who shall take the charge of speaker. Clear this thing? When speaker is absent, deputy speaker shall take the charge, and when deputy speaker is also absent, there shall be a panel of 10 chairperson who shall act as a speaker. In case of vacancy, when speaker is vacant, deputy speaker takes the charge of speaker. When deputy speaker is also vacant, in that case, a person shall be appointed by president and election shall be held as early as possible. Clear? So keep this thing in mind. Whenever there is vacancy, speaker, deputy speaker, person appointed by president and election as early as possible. Whenever there is vacancy, absentee, speaker, deputy speaker and a panel of 10 chairpersons shall be there. Now, this is one of the most important office, which is a speaker pro tem. Speaker pro tem. Who is speaker pro tem? See, Speaker of Lok Sabha vacates his office immediately before the first meeting of newly elected Lok Sabha. Those two lines which we have seen few minutes back. First, Speaker do not vacate the office at the dissolution of Lok Sabha. Speaker vacates the office just few minutes or few days before the first meeting of newly elected Lok Sabha. Now, when first newly elected Lok Sabha meets, they appoint a person as a speaker pro tem. Right? Now see, the post of speaker pro tem is by convention. It is not by any law. It is not by constitution. It is not by rules of Lok Sabha. The post of speaker pro tem is by parliamentary convention. Speaker pro tem is appointed by president. Speaker pro tem is given oath by president. Usually, Speaker pro tem is the senior most member of the newly elected Lok Sabha, but it is not necessarily so. Usually, he is senior most member, but not necessarily so. Now, the most important function of Speaker pro tem is to administer oath to newly elected members of the Lok Sabha. Clear? Speaker pro tem has only one function, to administer oath to newly elected members of Lok Sabha. He has all powers of the speaker. Speaker pro tem office is temporary. It enables the house to elect a new speaker. Speaker and deputy speaker are not given separate oath. And once the members of the Lok Sabha are given oath and election procedure of speaker is completed, the office of speaker pro tem is abolished. Clear? That's why speaker pro tem is a temporary post. It is temporary. Once new speaker is elected, speaker pro tem has to leave the office and that post is stopped. Clear? Remember, speaker and deputy speaker are not given any kind of separate oath. This is very important point. You have to keep in mind. Speaker and deputy speaker are not given separate oath. Now, coming to chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who is chairman of Rajya Sabha? Any person who is appointed as vice president of India shall automatically become the chairman of Rajya Sabha. This is the reason why one word is there. Vice president is ex officio chairman of Rajya Sabha. There is no separate procedure for removal of chairman of Rajya Sabha. There is only one procedure which is for removal of vice president. So removal of vice president is removal of chairman of Rajya Sabha. Remember this point. Removal of vice president is the removal of chairman of Rajya Sabha. There is no separate procedure in the name of removal of chairman of Rajya Sabha. Now, when we compare the offices of speaker and chairman, speaker has two special powers over chairman. Speaker presides over the joint sitting of parliament under article 108. Chairman do not preside over the joint sitting of parliament. Then power to decide whether a bill is money bill or not, it goes in the hands of speaker only. Chairman do not have this right to decide whether a bill is money bill or not. Whenever there is equality of vote, chairman has casting vote in case of equality of vote. Removal motion. Whenever removal motion is put against speaker and chairman, in this case a small difference is there. During removal motion, speaker can vote in first instance, whereas chairman cannot vote in first instance. I will star mark both these points. These are very, very important points. Speaker can vote in first instance during removal motion, whereas chairman cannot vote in first instance during removal motion. Then about deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. Deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha is elected by Rajya Sabha. First thing, when he has to vacate the office, when he or she is no more a member of Rajya Sabha, when deputy chairman gives resignation to chairman or by removal motion passed by Rajya Sabha with a majority of all the members of Rajya Sabha giving him 14 days notice, deputy chairman has a casting vote when he is acting as a chairman. Now, same about speaker. Whenever chairman is absent, deputy chairman will take the position. When deputy chairman is absent, there shall be a panel of chairperson. And when entire panel of chairperson is absent, then who shall act as a chairman shall be decided by the house. When chairman is absent, deputy speaker will take the charge. When deputy chairman is absent, panel of chairperson shall be there. And when entire panel of chairperson is absent, who shall act as a chairman shall be decided by the house. Then about vacancy in the chairman position. When chairman's post is vacant, deputy chairman shall take the position. When deputy chairman shall take is absent, a person shall be appointed by the president and he will ask for early conduct of the election for the post of vice president. Not for the post of chairman, it is for the post of vice president. Now, the third important position, but that we'll look at it afterward. So these are two important offices. One is speaker, deputy speaker, chairman, deputy chairman. Now we'll come up with more important offices in the next few lectures. Till then, keep watching. Thank you. Have a good day.